you can use in developing our application. So without wasting much of our time, let me quickly share my screen so that you understand the concepts that we are going into. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. There are two approach when it comes to database. Two approach. All know that. Oluwasegun, how far?
Good evening, sir.
Senior man.
Hi, Chief. Ajit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, before we go too far in this class, I have a question from the last class.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if you can just help me with your the UI from the last class. The I want to point out to something that I feel like we are actually missing from there.
Want to teach me Django?
I don't know Django. I'm learning too.
Want to teach me? No
I'm just
problem.
learning it too.
Okay, please remember your project presentation. First project presentation in Django on Monday. Okay, yes, say, oh God. Well, we are seeing Siligo too. Siligo.
So I see that of block or
Okay, so what do you want to show me?
Okay, sir. Sir, from the image of our post post,
Okay.
the images of our, I realized that we are still not dynamically generating those images.
What do you mean by the anti-generated
The
images? These ones?
image, yes, this image, we are not actually using it in the template,
That is why I
and it's
gave you
not.
assignment to use it now. You go and learn how to do it. I'm not teach everything. It's part of the assignment that I asked you to do.
Well, oh,
Yes, part of the assignment. Okay.
no problem there.
It's okay. All right. What I want to do now is I want to talk about database. So this now go back to is all right. So I want to talk about database. Database in Python. There are two approaches to use database. So the first approach is sequence language, and the other approach is non-sequence language. You agree with me that sequence language um, use table as table and columns. So that's the sequence, and the sequence are categorized into 3 different software: MySQL, Postgres, and LightSQL. So during this course, we'll be using 3 of those major sequence database. So sequence database, when you come here and you look about MySQL, for instance, or sequence server query language, I read more about sequence, you understand that sequence is a programming language, right? It's a structural language. It's a programming language used to manage database in relational database. So, and it's a different programming language on its own. The way of doing things in sequence is totally different. If you are learning sequence, like you're picking up a programming language from scratch. And for you to use database, you're not using a framework, you must learn sequence, which is a query language usually used in database. So, non-sequence database are as they are used in storing database with tables and tables and columns, right? So the name of the database can be, let's say, we have table.
Oh, are we recording?
So inside the table we have an ID, which is we have column name and age, right? So inside the column, another column, this is the user input. Then we have non-sequence language, non-sequence approach rather, which is document based, right? Which is used to store them using the IDs, key and values, right? So this is using keys and values. Why this use what? Table and column. So the most conventional way of doing it is this. These have been in existence for years. That is for conservative. If you're a conservative person, you don't want to vandalize, can still stick with this. However, it's work the same thing, but the modern way of doing it is using what sequence. So we have MongoDB and Cassandra. So Cassandra are 2 major software you want to learn if you want to be working with sequence. And like I said, if say for instance in sequence language, let's say you want to create a table, right? So to create a table, to set a table schema, you need to create the name of the table. Let's say you want to create a table of books. So you create a table of books and then a column. So in that table of books, you create a table called the ID, which mostly be an integer. Then also we have the ID is more is an auto increment. So what do I mean by auto increment? It means that it generates automatically on its own from 1 to 1 million. So it's an integer. We call it primary keys. And you've noticed when we are working on the blog, we created an ID. So the ID is actually what database used to uniquely identify each of the columns in the table. So we have title, text, not null. So not null, we will discuss on that. Then we have written, which is an integer. So now know that every data that you want to store in a column will have a type, right? If the picture will have a type, if it's let's say you want to store amount, it will have a type. So you must provide a type of that object. Then if you want to insert, let's say you want to insert something into the sequence column. So you call capital letter insert books, the small letter, then insert the title rating, then now call the value, Lord of the Ring, at the title rating is 5 points, this with comma. But Django has been able to make this very simple for us. That means you don't need to learn SQL language if you want to start using database. Now, Django is now mediating between a sequence, doing all this query from the background, and what we need to do is to focus on writing the complex part of our code than spending time in doing this manually. So it is really bulky. Then Django introduced use a method called object relational mapping. So all this thing I just explained earlier happens on the background, and then Django focus on data, not the query, right? So what Django does is that if you want to create a table like we are seeing here, what you need to do is to call what a class. So a class automatically create the table for you, and you want to create the column and ID, you just call them by the name of the variable, then assign the type of that element. So to illustrate more, let's say you have a variable of let's say variable of go. So that variable of go, you assign a value, so a type of the variable. So provide this here will be a type of whatever you want the go to have. Let's say you want it to be, you want to store picture. So remember that if you are storing anything in Django, if you are storing any field in Django, you must first understand what you are using that field for. So when you are designing your database, you need to understand what you are using that field for. Very, very important, right? Very, very important. So if you be able to do that, it will also help you in very different approach. Now, we are not working with sequence directly, but what we are doing is that the Django have already defined the model, and then what we focus on, the Django model will transmit or translate those instructions with Python, translate it to a sequence query. So there is some conventional languages like PHP. So if you are using normal PHP, it's essential that you need to learn SQLs, writing SQLs and whatnot. So like I was saying, the model Django translates those instructions that is written with SQLs, translated in Python to the SQL. So everything, when you do query, everything works on the back end. So let's move into Django model. We can also see model Django model field. So let's check out this first, then before we move into the Django model, right? So model are very important parts in Django, and they are very simple, very, very simple to use. So like I see here, the model, a model is the single definitive source of information about your database. It contains essential fields and behaviors of data you are storing. Generally, each data mapped to a single database or table. So, if you come to a quick look at Django model, so what you need to do is to import Django.db import for model. Sometimes this is they're already there for you whenever you create the model. And it's also important to know that whenever you are working with model in Django, it's just like the way you do your database. So the class here, it stands as a person name, which stands as the database table. So let me show you how table look like. I have a SQL here. So I need to first turn on my XAMPP. We all know what XAMPP is all about, right? We've done about XAMPP, where I ask you guys to come up with a database. The reason why I did this is to prepare your mind to this stage now we are. So this is a stage you will start using those XAMPP and use them to carry out some of the things that we will be doing. Very, very essential. That's why if they ask you to do XAMPP, you didn't learn XAMPP, it's not that you know that you should have done it earlier before now. So when you look at here, we have person. So inside the person, you need to call the inherit the model plus model, right? So this actually coming directly from database, Django database, where all the queries, SQL queries are being programmed, are being carried out on your behalf. So all you need to do is to just call model.model. Then you call a variable like I explained earlier. Then model dot, you have what we call the chart field, right? Now when we come to this field, the Django field, you will see a lot of Django field that you are required to use inside your model. You see that we have null, we have blank, we have choice, we have lots and lots and lots, in fact hundreds of Django fields that you are going to use. We'll try as much as possible to see how we can cover up most important one. So if you want to add email, decimal, dates, if you want to upload image file, so we have quite numbers of Django field which we are going to be looking at as we are building application. The main thing is that when you are building, then you are learning. Don't just go and be learning it. So me, I feel that when you are building it and you are what, you are learning it. So as I was saying, let me check my exam. My exam is up. All right, let me quickly turn on the exam. We all know what XAMPP does, Abi. So XAMPP will help you run SQL. So this is like an Apache that will help you run MySQL specifically, right? So to have that, you need to just come here and type localhost. Make sure your host is running. So I want to just use this to explain something. I don't start using it now though, but by next class I hope we will start using it. So let me go to my PHP admin. I already have existing database on that my PHP admin. So I want to use it to just explain what the person represents. Like I told you, the sequence use what column, right? So when it comes to these different types of database that we have employee. So when it comes to employee, we have a what, a table. So this table stands as what, as class. Are we communicating? Employee table stands as what, as class. Student researcher stands as class. So when you click on that employee, you are going to see inside the employee table, right, which is this. This is what we have here, which is a person, right? So we have an instance of this class. In the instance of the class, we have first name and last name. So we create the object, we create the instance of the class, and each of the field. Nelson, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I want to ask. Good evening, sir.
Right on.
The XAMPP, is it the only software whereby we can use to access a particular database? How about the DBverse, the Heidi, and so many of them?
Anyone that work for you can use. So I
Oh,
use them because I feel that it's comfortable for me. So it's good.
oh,
We have other light version server to use to run SQL. But if you are running SQL Lite, you don't necessarily need. But the SQL Lite are used for lightweight, less traffic applications, so it's not recommended. But if you are using it for less traffic, use it for development. Don't use it for production. So,
oh, okay.
like I was
Oh,
saying, the instant of this object, you can see the type, the chart field, and then you can see the max length. So this max length is talking about is about the length of how many characters that particular field can contain. So if you get up to beyond that character, you're going to have error. So this is also required, but we are going to see that, however. So like I was saying, in the instance of each of the class, you can see the ID, which as we are creating it, we don't necessarily need to create the IDs because it generates automatically. The ID feed generate automatically. So the last name and the first name. So here is the full name, position, qualification, and date. So this full name, position, qualification, and date is what? The instance of this class. So this is the column where the information are being stored. All right. So apparently that is also another thing for your model to work, right? Once you have defined your model, you need to tell Django you are going to use those models, right? So for your models to be able to work, you need to register your app. So if you don't register your app, there's no way you can use model. Very important. And Django already have inbuilt Django database, which is SQLite, right? In the SQLite, and I told you, it's not recommended for production, it's used for development. So first you need to register your app, which is also very important. So we are going to be looking at different field and types. So as we are designing, we'll be looking at all this one by one. Anyone will need to learn it and they will move ahead. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create Django. So this is what we are going to do tonight, because I always like as I'm working with let me copy these two man and save them somewhere. All right, it is what it is and what it is. So okay, let me get this. I think I need this, and there's another one I need to. I don't even know the name, so let me just copy two of this file that I already designed. I asked you guys to design something for me. I didn't know why me. Look at what people design. I'll show you what people design. Now you tell me what you design, I don't even understand. Do myself. Index. Where is that index? Okay. So as you going to design something, when they give you per assignment, you go and do a different thing. Your assignment will go and do a different thing altogether. This is what you people design for me. What is that? This one is dashboard. I don't even know. I'm not even telling anybody to convert the dashboard to Django. I don't know say arrange yourself. This is what you people design. I think that design be this give me. And these things now on design. None of them is even working. None is even popping up. Watching that design give me the whole OTS. Get that one too self. Where I see like this, I go laugh. If you open this code now, you go laugh tire. Don't know what they do there. Rather than where is that backend? You see, say this one's a backend logic. I don't ask people to write any backend logic for me. If you want to write backend logic, write all the logic where I don't even understand where I want stand for. I just ask you to do HTML design for me. Backend logic, I don't even know how would they even start to give me backend logic. Logic, carry logic, but I don't even know which in the right register. I said do a design for me. I didn't say she write the code for me. It's not an assignment, simple design. That's what I asked you guys to do. Now, if you open the design now, you will have tire. Man, if you open and say, what that dashboard? I'm so disappointed, I swear to God. I'm not proud of you guys at all. So disappointed, freaking disappointed, man. I go do rubbish, give me. Where the dashboard now? And the design with this room, I open them for VS Code. Why even drag and drop and there self. Drag and drop for the VS Code. So with the VS Code, man. I just drag am inside the VS Code, man, I see. Is that now see wetin on our people design. Now, this is what they design now. Me, I don't even understand all these things. Now, which waiting be all this one? Waiting all this one they do? I don't know. I don't know. Now just HTML, I'm assuming I design for me. Waiting be all this one now? Me, I don't know. If I start to use JavaScript now for Python now, say your head will blow. Your head will blow because I don't want to start it now. But it's gradually. Now, I JavaScript, you everywhere from. That's why to use JavaScript. Look how JavaScript. Now, if I start to use JavaScript now with Django, my head will blow. Look at people design for rubbish. People think I don't have hand. I have hand though. I already design. I already design with I want design. People think I don't have hand. Tomorrow thing was someone that design. It's only today I designed this one that is here. I will show you people. Just today. If I didn't take me 10 minutes, I'm done. Teacher, I know I will not give you my template. If you want to do the same thing, use your own template. But if I'm keep doing it, it will make some of you lazy. This template that is here, I am not giving anybody. This is the one I designed. Are you seeing it? Are we seeing what I designed? HTML. This is what I'm expecting you people to do. I'm not giving anybody this template. If you are finished, if you want to do your own, go and design exact template. This is it. You can see. And this one. Then when you click on this place, now it will now display this. You see what I designed. A very simple something. Just very simple. That's only what I need from you people. Just to learn how to display all this information. That is only what I need from you people. That people cannot design anything. I did this one today. Just few minutes. So just this around, no be around it. I come up with this thing. But the one I given, I want to spend 1 year. I'll be 8 months. So I'm working with this. So what we're going to do today, we're going to create a database today. Learn how we can display those database, fetch those information from this database, and then add what we call a URL. When you click on here, it will take you to that specific user database and the related cohort. So what we plan to do is to create cohort. So this particular project will help us learn. The guy, please send me the document of that project that I sent you. That they want to ask you to arrange. Send me the document. Let me use my hand and arrange another template for that project because I look at it as rubbish. Please, the guy here, the guy. Why the guy not dey class now? At the class go dey bored without you. When I call the guy, make him come out.
I did class. I don't dey send am.
The teacher, the class go dey bored. Say not the class. Because only they respond for the class. Nobody agree respond. Okay, so all right. So what we want to do is that to learn database relationship. I think that is a very important thing you need to learn first. And then we want to use this project to learn database relationship. Then if you want to learn that, you can then start moving into doing other things. Right. So let me go back. I just want to register my displeasure on what you guys have done. So we need to create a Django app. I think just create a Django app. We already have Django settings set up already. I don't want to be setting up again, so I will not be wasting time. So I just go create a Django app. I don't need to set up, please. So I'm not setting up, guys, because we already did the setup, right? So when we are building another project, then I'll start afresh again doing setup, because by doing setup, the little time we have, you will spend it on doing just setup alone. And it's also very important is to, like I said, tomorrow, Presido, okay,
Good evening, sir.
the guy,
I'm
okay,
standing.
Vice President,
Good evening, sir. I'm standing in for him tonight.
okay, see, I mean, everybody should send their this thing on GitHub, and then the solo project on GitHub, and set up the templates the way I asked you guys. So you guys are presenting it tomorrow. Everybody, all the course members should submit. So they should create a portal where let them submit their links there. So we'll look into it, and during presentation we'll check how many people that are submitted. You understand? For that cohort. Yeah. So if anybody that did not submit, we'll suspend the cohort. That's it. Right. So let's go on. So I will just create an app. I don't need to do all this setup. All this setup that are not necessary. So all right. So let's go down. So what I'm going to do here is break this. So I'm going to call Python managers py start app, then student. Where did I even create the app set? Okay, so this is the student app. So when you create the student app, you can see what we have here. And I want to also show you something. Let me delete this and show you something. When it comes to setting here, database setup for you. So a database that Django use in default is SQL, SQLite, SQLite. So you can see this is the database where you can set up database. So when we start using MySQL, 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 Sabi? I think that is it. MySQL. So
MySQL, sir.
so when we start using the MySQL ecosystem, there are some packages that we need to install in order to use MySQL, right? And Django recommended those packages. But for MySQL, we don't need to store any extra packages because it comes in as an already pre-installed package with Django, and that's why you see basic slash db.sql. So whenever we run our app, this will automatically be created here. So we see it here. I deleted mine. So you see this folder here. And sometimes also when you're working with the database, it's also to see a database and what is happening. But I prefer using MySQL so that it's as I'm building, maybe I'm done building my software, I can test and then deploy. Because changing of all this database may break some of your code. But however, we'll be using this for now for due to when time comes, you can leverage on that. So you don't also need XAMPP for you to use this, right? It runs alongside with Django database structure. So it is there already, it's installed already. And it's also very important to when you create a app, if you want the database to work, you must ensure that your app is properly registered in Django setting.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I've been raising my hand up. Oh, sorry. Good evening, hi, Chief.
Fire down.
I wanted to ask, is it possible for you to show us how to use my SQL? Because it's my SQL database that I know how to design, that I've been working with since. So how
Why
to
are you flying
link
to?
it
Oga?
with.
Why are you flying to now? Calm down. Calm down. You hear me? Calm down. We'll get there. This is the beginning. So we want to follow this type app. She say you won't even give me money, self. No, say no. Question I ask. Okay. So we need to restart the app before we start doing anything. So the name of the app I created here is called Students. So if you are using external app, you can say um, register Django app here, right? So now when you come, please always make sure that You are, oh, damn. Okay. I'll make sure that there is comma at the end of this. Then when you register the app, which is called students, hmm? Students. Now we register an app that that is not yet created in Django. You have some issue like can see issue that we have here, a new model file. That means either you have not installed the app in Django or the app is not registered. There's some package in Django that when you create those package, when you install them, you need to register them. So without that, you're not going to work. So we are done registering our app. So the next thing we are going to do is to now move to start writing our SQL database. Okay, we come in here, and this is where we write in our database. And writing was our database. That's what we are going to do, and which we're going to take in gradually, right? Take it kadan, 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 kadan. So we want to start writing our database. The already we have the what's it called? Um, so here we can come here and create class. I told you that the database we are going to be writing is mostly what's it called? So that the database we are going to be writing now is mostly so let me explain what we are going to write, the kind of the database that we are going to write. So we want to write a database for students, then a database for student profile. So like every student will have a profile, right? That have extra information, and then it will program that that student is enrolling, such as the course, grades, and then also have cohorts, the code group, or you can call it the code group for that particular student. So to do this, we want to first create what we call a class. So a class of students. So this student represents table, right? Then you open and close. So inside here, you can see that we already imported Django model. So what Django model is doing is um, to inherit some information from Django itself, right? So from information from what? From Django itself. So that is also very important. So what I'm going to do here is to come here and put inherit model, right? So here I'll come and call model, which is this model that we already imported, dot what? Dot capital letter model. Very important. So when you come here, you enter, right? So let me pass in something here. So this information now is our table. So that the way when you come here, um, when you come here and you write employee, so this man here is what? The model database table, right? So this is the database what? Table, right? So this is a table, which is the, let's say this is student. So when you click on the student, you're going to have what we call the instance of that student, which is very important. So we are not yet adding the instance of the students. We're not yet started adding it. We're also going to add it very soon. So we have passed. So what another model we're also going to be needing, like remember the model store basic information about the student, and they are going to be having field, right? Some field that we're going to be adding, like last name, first name, the status of the student, right? And then moving to student profile. So the student profile, which contain additional details about the students, right? So let's go and do that quickly. We have class. So inside this class, we are going to have what is it called? We are going to have student profile, student underscore profile. So inside the student underscore profile, we also going to be inheriting from model.what.model. So model.model. So we don't want to start adding any field now. We can just use pass, right? So the next one we are going to be doing is the course that the student, the program. So this program is actually used to store information about the student course, right? The course that the student want to enroll. And we also define the field yet or the instance. So let's move down. We have the class. So inside this class, we have cohort, right? Cohort. Cohort. Okay. Program rather. Program. So inside this program too, we are going to have model.model. Then you can use pass. It's also important to design your database before you start writing. So I already designed mine before writing. So if I don't design it, there's no way you can be doing this thing fast. So I already done that brainstorming before we start the class. So we have a cohort group. So inside this cohort group, oh sorry, we're going to define a class. Then cohort what? Cohort group. Now remember this thing, you must do it in model if you want Django to recognize a database. But in view, you don't need to write all the logic in view. You can create your own folder. Unlike model, you can't do that in model. You must do it in model.py. You know what I'm saying? So let model.model. All right, so model.model, let's pass this pass. Right, so these are all the models that we want to use. We also will defining relationship of this model. Then that will also give us more insight about Django the object relational mapping relationship, which is very essential of this model. Then there is some unique field that we're also going to be diving into that will help us get more additional information on this. Now, when you are done creating your database, all right, now it's database, right? You've done creating the classes of your database. There's one thing that is left. And what is that thing that is left? The next thing is to do what we call to send this information to the database, which is this database you are seeing here, right? To send this information here, I store it in this temporary database. So if you delete this, your database is going out. So what are we going to do when we feel that okay, so what we are going to do here is to move to the next thing, which means that we want to prepare. I want to tell Django to prepare. Uh, we want to tell Django to like prepare our file, right? To create the database schema. It's just a schema. Just means it is just there, right? So when we tell the Python to do that, to create those ones, the next one is to move those changes. So to do that, we need what we call make migration, right? So make migration commands tell Django to prepare a migration file based on the change that you have done in your model. So to prepare those files, it's not sending it to the database yet. It's not hitting the database yet. So what you are doing is to prepare those files, right? Now, so the migration file is actually a Python script, right? It's not a database script. So it describes how database schema should handle the table to delete a file. So it creates those tables and columns for you temporarily on a Python script. Then when you were okay with that, you make your migration. The next thing is to what is to migrate, right? Now I want you to know something. look at the app that we are working on, right? This is actually the app. So you can see that we have immediately we created the model. Automatically this file is created. If you come to other app, Django app that we created, you will not see similar. I think this home. Okay, home. You can see the folder here, migration, right? Make migration. Nothing is there. So now look at inside this migration file. This is where whenever we run migration, our database goes in here, right? So let's run migration and see what's going to happen. Python manage.py is what we call make migrations. Now, when you use make migration, we wait for it to migrate. Now, immediately you turn make migration, this is actually what happened. Now, remember, if you recall earlier, Django is telling us that we have what 18 unapplied migration, right? So 18 unapplied migration. This it means that there are database, some information in Django, like Django built-in admin, have already been prepared for us, but we are waiting for us to migrate it so that the Django app or Django project can work properly well. Now, if you come to URL, the Django setting, so go to URL, you notice that in this URL we have a path called admin, right? If you copy this path and come to Django, for the Django this thing, and then /admin, then you will notice that we are going to have a database error, right? This database error now will, let me see. Okay, all right. So let me run this. I'll come back to this. Let me run server. So when you come here and open, you notice that it's telling us no such stable Django session, right? That means we cannot access the Django dashboard if we didn't make migration. To migrate this on our SQL database. So Django already have inbuilt Django admin that will help you perform what we call CRUD, right? So instead of you creating the database and spending time to create an interface for CRUD operation, you can easily use that Django backend to perform this CRUD operation for you. Create, delete, and update, right? So you don't necessarily need to be building a different interface to manage it for you. But however, I don't usually use that. I prefer using my own admin. But during the process of development, use the CRUD operator to be able to create it manually and then fetch those information manually to ensure that those information are working for you, right? So let's look at our make migration file. We'll take it up from there. So let me scroll down a little bit. Okay. Okay, right. So like I was saying, maybe we run make migration now. When you look at, it said migration for what? For student. So what is this student is all about? The student is referring to this student app. So it's the student app that he has migrated. Now, when you look inside that student app, there's a file called migration and the file called migration 001 initial. So anytime you make migration, it's going to create a new file. Anytime you make migration, it's going to create a new file. Now, when do you need to make migration? So when you need to make migration, it is when you add or modify anything inside the model. So you modify anything inside the model. For you to store hit the database, you need to prepare the Django file, right? Prepare Django script that can help you push the database. So make migration is like you are preparing those JavaScript, Python scripts for you to be able to use those information and run your migration. So when you scroll down a little bit and come here, you notice that, like I said, I've explained the meaning of this 18 unexplained migration, right? So we need to, next thing we're going to do is to look at the file here. Oh, why is this in? Okay, now when you look at here, you see create migration for what? For code group. Now, when you come, you see that we have what? Migration for code group. Now, create migration for program, migration for student profile. right? So these are the migration he created inside this file. Now let's go into inside this file, which is inside our students. Then inside the student, you open a folder. You see a folder called migrations. Then you see a file called 001. If you understand it, please give me thumbs up. If you don't understand, you can mute your mic and ask me question. The area you need clarification, so that I can clarify before we move ahead. All right, it's okay. So now when we come to this migration, then you see migration 101, which is our first brand new migration. Now let's analyze these files here. So these are actually files that Django have prepared for us, and you can see the way he did it, so that he can handle creating and inserting. So you come here, you see the operation. Please don't play with this file. This file, if you play with this file, something may go wrong. But however, if anything go wrong, delete our migration, migrate back again. Very important. So here we have, you can see the ID. The ID that you saw there, the big auto field. So this big auto field, it's automatically generating the ID for you. Then you did a bit of serializer, and then you have a verse name, which is ID. Now that is it. So what we only created, we have not created any fields. That's why you come to this field, you're only seeing the ID. Like I told you earlier, the IDs are automatically generated. So you come to create program, which is a class name program. There's no field yet. So you can see some field information that we have. So we migration.create. So he has created a table, and then inside that table there's no field, right? Inside the table, but itself the big auto incrementing field. So is there anything you don't understand about this migration, like the files in the migration? Please let me, if you don't, I will explain further. But if you are, let's move ahead.
So please come again, please. I didn't really understand.
Okay, I said the migration files, right? So the migration command, what it does is to prepare your Django file for you, so that the database can know how to handle them. For instance, if you create the model, you run main migration. The reason why I'm making my migration is to prepare this particular model, because I told you that we are not writing any sequence language here, but the Django handles those SQL query and SQL commands. It handles them on the back end. Now, for a team to be able to handle them on the back end, Django need to prepare this file for us to prepare it those files to work in line with the sequence command. So I told you that in our database we have about how many tables that we've created. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4 tables. Now when we come to this make migration, whenever you run make migration, you are going to have the first file. If you run another one, we are going to have 003, 003. It goes on and forth, right? So now inside here we have operations, and that operation you can see is a list that contains a lot of information. That means not only one. Then you can see migration.create model. So it's actually creating this model, which is what? Cohort group. Then inside that model, you have field. This cohort group is the class that we created. Can see the code group here, right? Can see it here. Then inside the code group, there are fields, and we have not created any fields yet. Then I told you the fields are the instant of what? Of your class. They are like variables, right? And it holds different types of data. The same thing that we also have here. Now, we've been able to run migration, right? This thing is not yet in the database. Now, for us to store this information in the database, what we need to do is to use what we call migrate. Now, so the migrate command, what migrate command does is that it applies the actual database, right? It migrates, it applies the migration to the database itself. So the database we are using, it is called SQLite. Now, so the make migration is just like executing the migration script and then making those necessary changes to the database table. Go. Are you getting me? You make them to the database table. So when you make migration, all the migration files will be pending to be migrate to your database. So immediately you make migration, it will now write those information to the database where you can be able to access them. Are you communicating? So let's quickly do that. So after we've done migration, the next thing to do what is migrate. So migrate. Remember the last time I told you for us to get those information. Now you can see that operation performing. So let's go down and analyze this file too. Good and fine. Now it is done, right? Now let me go up and show you what it has migrated. Now, if you come here, operation to migrate perform, apply all in migration. Now the migration here apply is what? Admin, auth, context, session, and student. So this is like 4 apps. Only one app is the one that we created by ourselves. The other remaining app is what is owned by what? By Django, which you can see on Django setting. As you can see it. So you can see the auth here. You can see that we register the auth. You can see that we register the admin. Right? They register the admin. You can see I register the session. So if these are not registered here, there's no way Django can perform what we call this migration. So all these apps you are seeing, they're all registered here. You can see the registered admin. So this is actually an app built by Django. These are different apps built by Django, already built in app that we can leverage on. So you can see all the migrations that have migrated. Then you see 001 okay, 002 okay. Auto add remove. You can see everything that has been migrated. So it means our migration is what? It is successful. And 001 have been migrated to our database. Now we now have this information right there in our database, Django. So let's quickly check our migration file. Then let's go back to that migration file again. And then there's nothing different because we've not added anything yet, right? So now let's quickly move into our database. Click on this, and of course, you're not going to see anything because you don't have a editor that we can use to open this. Now, that's one of the problems. There are two ways of doing this. If you don't have the editor to open this database and know what's really happening, you can download SQLite and do that. But me, I prefer using Django admin. Now, if I come back here again and click on reload this, to Django admin, I need to run my migration. All right, so let me go back here. You can see that I now have what Django admin ready to be used. So you need to make migration and run your migration. Now, making this migration, you don't necessarily need to create a database first. So if you want to access your Django admin without creating database, you make a migration. Now, we can't log into this Django database, do Django, because we need to create a super admin that can be able to manage all this information. Now, if you don't create a super admin, there's no way the user can have permission to manage the admin. So this is actually built for you. You can customize this based on your needs. Use it, right? This is actually built for you to make the work very easy. But it's not perfect. It's not like 100% perfect. Like me, I like doing, when I'm building my software, I like building everything from scratch. I like being in control, right? So with this Django admin, you are not just you are not really in control. But you can, if you know your onions, you can manipulate this information, manipulate those Django templates and the backend to give you whatever you want. If you want, there's packages that does that. So, but that will be the different day. So what we are going to do here is that we need to create a Django package, right? A Django super admin. If you recall, I told you if you don't understand this command, Python manager.py help can give you all those commands I just explained earlier. I've discussed that. I think we've learned this before. Can give you all this Django command that we are using. So you can see create admin. So this is the one I want to run. You can see all of them there. So in case you are confused where I'm getting this information from. All right. So what we're going to do now is to run Python manager.py, create super admin. So create super admin. Then the super admin now, they will ask you the username. Say leave blank to use Sopolo. So I'm using admin, admin, then enter. Then the email address. You can either leave it blank or add email address. Let me add my email address, caroline@gmail.com. So the next one is password 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So they are telling me that my password is too short, right? I can say yes, I want to use it that way. Then you can see here Django super admin has been created, right? So in our database. So let me run run server. Those information that we created now, we'll go back and use them to log in our fresh and nice Django admin. So let me log in. Change this whole same thing with those information I provided earlier. Okay. This should be admin. This should be 1 2 3 4 5 6. So now we've been able to log in to Django admin, right? And we log in to Django admin. The first thing that we are seeing here is what we call users. Now, these users, remember I told you that Django have inbuilt user models already, right? Inbuilt user models that we only need some few information that we can use. So if you want to use the Django model, like this Django user model, if you also want to create your own, it's fine. But it's also important to use Django model, use it. But if you want to advance it, you can then create your own. If you want to log into Django user model, you are going to use your username. What if you want to build a software that you want people to log in with their email address, customized ID, or maybe anything at all? Then when you need to model, work on this. So when you come here, notice that this particular man have what we call starting of is admin equals to what? Equals to true, which gave this man admin right. You can see the password. And one thing I like about Django is that like this algorithm in Django, that even though as the owner, as the programmer who developed the platform, you cannot see the password. So the password are hashed. Even as a programmer that developed the platform, let's have built a software for you now. I can't see the password of username that I registered. If I want to access that account, I must get the password, or I will go and delete the account or reset the password. So that almost every framework does that, so that the person building the app, or the person using the app will not be vulnerable. Are you getting me? To the programmer or having access to that information. Django don't accept that. There's no modification you can do that will work. Maybe you understand what you are doing. Then what do they have in this Django mode? They have name like first name, last name, and email address field already for us, a database already. Then we have active, is staff, is super admin. You can see two designations that we have here. Is staff, is super admin. So now we can see those databases that we created. Are we communicating? We can't see those databases that we created. And this is really a problem. If you can't see, there's no way we can even perform any CRUD operator here. So when you install create Django admin and you create your model, you need to register it in the Django admin for it to be available for you to use, to utilize it. So it must register it and make it available for you to utilize tomorrow. Okay. So you need to register it for you to use it in Django admin, right? So for you to register the Django admin, this is an inbuilt Django admin, so we need to go register it. To do that, so what we need to do is that there is this particular file that's always available here. What's the name of this file? So you see whenever we create, whenever we create, so this student now. So see it here. That this particular file here, Django admin, right? I've not discussed about the Django admin. So what the Django admin.py does is that, so what it does is that it's work in hand with the Django admin, right? The Django interface, like built-in Django interface. where we can register our admin. So for us to register our admin, right? For us to register our admin, there's something that we need to do, some few things that we need to do. And what is that? So when you come here, we are going to import this model. So this model is what we want to register in Django admin, right? So we are going to import all this model, all this class here to the Django admin, so that we can be able to have the Django to be able to have access to this map. So the first thing I'm going to do here is that to come here and call from, so from where? From model, right? Dot model. If I assume relative this one, then import. The first one is your student, right? The second one is profile program. The third one is what? Student profile. Okay, this is actually the three stuff that we have here. Student profile. Now, how to register Django admin? What we need to do is that we call, let's see, so here you can say register model here. So we call admin, which is this admin here, right? Admin dot site dot register. See what I did there? Admin dot site dot register. So what do you want to register? Want to register students. So student. Now I have registered this student. So what happened here is that admin dot the site dot register means I'm registering this model to the Django admin. So if I come here and reload, I can see that we have this Django admin here. So when you click on it, I notice that we don't have any student added already. Then we come to add the add student. You notice that there is nothing. We don't have any field there, right? Because in the Django model, there's no field yet. We don't have any field. If you come to this place and you can see that you don't have any field there, there's no field, right? There's no field. So that is also very important. I know that is also what you need. You also need to understand about the Django. What is the name? Django admin. So we need to register those information. Now, this is what we have done. Let's quickly go and register others. So to do that, move into this place and then also call admin the site the register students. So there are a lot of things that okay, we'll register students already. Let's start program.
Sorry, sir. The way you are registering the models, the is it not possible to put comma in the first one and write program? So must we do it this way, the way you are doing it?
Yeah, this way is the conventional way of doing it.
Okay.
There are a lot of ways to do it, but this is the conventional way of doing it. Although this newbie style, if you assume I use Pro style now, you get
Okay.
confused. Let me use Pro style now.
So even if you have 20 models, so this is how we are to do it.
Yeah, this is how you're going to register it. So we'll do some modification.
Okay.
If I do Pro style now, you get confused. I will just create a class and do blah 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 blah. Yeah, but I don't do that. You need to follow conventional way. So let's register another one, like the site. You know, everybody have their own pattern. So register. So let's call the second one here. All right. So we'll come back to the admin and then reload. You can see. Let's check what is the problem. So they say we already registered student. Okay, let's just restart our server and then that will be okay. Right, we have registered all the three models. So you can see all the three models that we have. So it's inside the student app. So the student app is all the model that we've registered. So program, nothing is there. I not added any field. So you understand that these particular classes are tables. I think it's making is a bit clear now, right? So these are classes are table. Now then go a bit advanced by adding some information. So what's the information I'm adding? Next one here, I should have a username, a password, lot of stuff. So yeah,
That should be under student, I guess.
yes, I understand rather. So in the student module, I'm going to have a username. So let me pass this. Let me pass. So I'm going to say username. So a username. So inside that username, we're also going to look about type. What the type of is it a type of chat, right? Character, right? So a type of character
Yes, character feed.
model dot model
Character feed.
dot so let's look at
Char feed.
all right, I know. Let's look at what's it called? Let's go back to Django documentation. So I look at different kind of this field that we have. So can see different kind of fields. So let's look at char field. So you can see the char field here. If you click the char field, okay, char field max length, right? So in chart field, max length. So there are some parameters that we're going to use inside the chart field. So we have the max length. So a string field for a small to large size of string. For large text amount, use text field. To default from widget, use input. Now, it has the following argument, chart field.max. So the max length in character of the field, the max is enforced at the database level and in Django validation, right? So what it's trying to say here is that in max fix, that's the required what parameter. So the required parameter that we are going to use, which is what max what length. So the max length means the maximum amount of character that we can enter, right? The amount of character that we can enter in this particular chart field. So let's go and use the chart field. Then we'll start moving ahead. So here I'm going to call the chart field. So dot chart field. So inside that chart field, we're going to use what we call max length. So max what length, then to 600 or 200 or 300. I don't use that is that. Let's say 50 or 100. So this is what we have here, right? So you can also come here. If you have done this, let's see what's going to happen. Then we need to run our migration. Make migration. Then they're asking us that we should provide a default field because we already created the database. If you want to add something here, it's got you provide a default field inside there, or I'll tell them that let me enter anything. So one is this will not happen if you are working with a brand new database. Remember, I already migrated this already. So to modify it, they're asking me that the database is impossible to add null or blah 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 blah. So database field, which is actually telling me that I should put in some information. So I can see provide a one-off will set existing with the null feed column to quit and define blah 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 manually in mode. So if we want, so the search you just put in things, can say hello. So now it's added the database. The migration can see here migrate for student, then the add field username to student. Now when we come to this migration, you see another migration here, right? 002, which is the username, right? So when you scroll down 002 to username, scroll down here, you can see the name of the field, the username, and then the model, which is what chart field, default, which is hello that I've added. You can do that manually. The max length is what is 100. Now this thing I've not hit the database yet, right? If you without running a migration, If you come here and without running migrate, if you come here and run this, and then you go back to your table, your Django table. Let's say you come to the student table and you try to call the student, you are going to have an error, right? The error is because you already done migration. You need to migrate it so they can go to the database. So very important. So let me move into leave this one for now. We'll handle that later. So yeah, I'm going to call other field you are going to use. So let's define the first name. The first name is also going to be a character field. First underscore name equals to model dot child field. So we're also going to pass what we call max 200. Then next is last name, which is equals to model dot child field. They have maximum of what? Of 200. The next thing we're also going to define is that it's about let's see, status of the student. Status status, which is equals to model dot child field. We have a max max, then to that. Okay, now the status here, we are not going to use child field because the status is more of less a boolean field, because status we want to check if the student is active or is not active, right? So that's what active does. If you come to Django, we'll come to the field again. Let's look for boolean. So we look at boolean field, right? So inside boolean field, it actually contains true or false, right? It actually contains what? True or what? Or false. So the default form we get for this is either return true or false. Very, very important. So that's what a boolean field does. So we are going to set the student to be active, right? But if we want to turn the student back to inactive, we can do that. So yeah, I can call boolean model dot. So when you put dot, you can see different kind of field here. You scroll down, you can see different kind of Django field that we have, which we are going to be looking into one by one in this project that we are building. So yeah, I'm going to call boolean. So you can see boolean field. So inside this boolean field, you are going to have default, right? The default of the field should be true because we want every user to automatically be active. Maybe if there's any reason, we can come back here and remove it. So this is what we have, right? So this is the student. The student have this information. Then let's move into the profile model, right? We have to move into what? Into the profile model. The profile model, I'm not going to assign everything. So profile model, I'll also come here and call the students, because now the profile model must be related to the student, right? Are we communicating? The guy, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
The profile,
True foreign key.
yes. The profile field must be in connection with the student. That's what the profile field means. So you cannot call student without calling the profile, right? So there's a kind of a relationship between this profile and this student. There must be a relationship, right? Because student must have a profile. It's the information here that you are extending to this place. So what relationship are we going to use between these two persons? Who can tell us the relationship between the student and the profile? So how these two are connected? Who will tell us relationship to use? Who can tell us?
One,
1-to-1.
One to
1-to-1.
Why,
one to
why do you think it's 1-to-1?
Because one student can only have one profile.
Okay, one student can only have what? One profile, right? So we are going to use what we call one-to-one relationship, right? Now, in relationship, there are things that also we need to know, right? And how it also work, right? So um we are going to do something. So what are we going to do is that we are going to create a one-to-one relationship, right? So this one-to-one relationship is between the student and the profile. So which means that each student has exactly one profile, right? And each profile is associated with only one word, student, right? So you cannot come here and say, okay, students, we have like 100 students, they have that 100 students, all of them will have access to this profile. Like the way you want to register course, let's say we are 18 that want to register in UST, we can decide to choose the same department, right? Why that department, we like to choose, okay, we are 100, we'll choose the same department, computer science, computer science. So the relationship between the school and the students. So the student deal directly to the school alone, right? Not all the students. Why the student? Why the students? All of them deal with the school. Why you as a student you deal with the school directly? The school deal with you directly as a student, only you alone. Why every student deal with the school? So if a student too want to write to you directly, right? So this one is one on one. Why this one I explained earlier is what we'll come to that. So what we are going to do here, we're going to call the student equals to, then we'll call model dot we have what we call one to one word relationship. Inside this one to one relationship, we need to call the model that we are having this relationship with, which is the student, right? So we call the student. Then inside the student, that's what we also want to define, which is called on the lead. Now,
On delete cascade.
is that, all right? What is on the lead mean is that we call on the leads, right? Equals to, then we pass in model, right? Um, we come in model dot what we call
Ca- cascade.
cascade, right? Now, model dot cascade,
Yeah.
what it means is that if um if the student's model is this, if the student is deleted, then if the student is deleted, the profile should also be deleted with the student. So it's just like when we delete somebody account, like some platform, when you delete somebody account, the profile will be there. It doesn't make sense because the account is no longer there. Then there is no profile transaction, maybe should go off. So that's why if you delete a student, you are deleting, like if you come to your account now, delete your account in the OTS, your cohort, all assignments are going. So that's what it means on delete equals to what? Model or cascadic. So that is how we can define what we call one to one relationship. So inside that one to one relationship, we also have other fields. We also have other fields in that particular. So we have fields like what field do we have? All right. So we have
We have the
feel like the bio.
pass
So the bio or about the students, which is equals to, now the bio, I'm using a very large number of information, right? So I'm not going to use chat field. I'm going to use what we call text field. Remember what they tell us? They told us then text. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's just say chat. Okay, right. So also going to look at some things. Okay, where the chat field now? Chat field. Okay, so in this chat field, they said if you want to have a large amount of text, you should use what we call the field we call test. It's just that this test field is just like test area, right? This test field is just like what the way we have your test area. So that's what I'm also looking for. So let's go, let me move the text what text field. So it's just like what test area. So that one does not require any parameter. You can check it out there. So the next thing we're also going to do is the dates. Now, dates dates underscore of underscore birth. Date of birth. Now, this date of birth, we are going to use the date field. And the date field in Django, they have two date fields in Django. So I'm going to explain each of the date fields in Django and how they work, right? How each of those date fields in Django perform, which is what we are going to be looking at into each of these date fields in Django. So we have two date fields. One is date time, right? So we have one date time. So what date time does is that a date rather. So what date is that it allows you to manually input a date field, which is date model dot date. So we have date field, we have date time, which is these two. We are going to discuss the difference between these two. So the date field, let's check it out in Django documentation. Yeah. Date field. Okay. All right. So let's put that little. So the date field represent in Python by a date time. So this date field actually use the Python instant date time, right? So in date field we have what we call date field dot auto. So this date field dot auto automatically set the field to new time the object is saved. So this we have date field dot auto. So what actually happens is that this, if the parameter is set to true, it will automatically set the field to the current date and time the current date every time you create the object. So every time the object is saved. So it means that this one, whenever you create what's that called? So this one, I mean, whenever you create the object, it automatically save it to that current time. So it automatically save it for you to that current time. So it means that if I give datetime.auto, right? So whenever the object is created, the field automatically set the field to new to now every time the object is saved. Useful last modification, note that the current time is always used, it's not just a default. Now, so what it means is that whenever you call that date time parameter, right? Whenever I call that auto date time parameter, so that parameter, if set to true, will automatically set the field to the current date every time the model is saved. So this will save to the current date. So anytime you update, let's say you want to use last update. So anytime you update, it will record your last update. Okay, say for instance, you wrote something on WhatsApp or you wrote something on Facebook. You came back to edit that information. So when you edit it, the date that will be showing is the date that you edit that particular post. That's day. you did that particular post. Let us send somebody message on WhatsApp, and when you send person message on WhatsApp, you see the time that you send this information. So if you go back later and edit that information, it's not the time. That time you need to write those information that will show. Is that current time that you used to write the information that will show. So this actually used in edit auto time auto now means that anytime that you are editing the info, this particular database or the particular object, it will show this, right? So this is actually used to update, last update, right? No, it doesn't use to create that. So anytime you update, the time will change. So the time of the whatever you added will change. So when you are using auto time now, so that's what auto time now does. What you are going to do in that auto time now, I'm not going to use anything, but so if you feel like, okay, I don't want to use anything, right? I want to use my hand and add this information, which is date of birth. So we are not going to use it in this. So this field only create update when called save. This field is not update when working to other field in other ways, such as creation of update, so blah blah. So you can read more about it. Like I explained, that's the little knowledge I have on that update field. If you want more elaborate explanation, you can go and read more or explore other options. So remember that this one will update every time you call the field. Now let's look at auto add now, right? So this auto add now automatically set the field. So automatically set the field to when the object is first created. Useful for creating of timestamp. Note that the current date is always used. So actually, what is actually trying to say is that this actually only run once. So immediately you create an object, let's say you create your profile or you create an account, it will record the time that you create that account and it can't be modified. So you can also use it to track when last the user created an account, right? Or how many months or how many years that user you can use it in terms of subscription. If you want a user carry out a subscription, for instance. So when we carry a subscription, it contains the dates. So that means it creates once. Maybe it's created, you can modify this date, particular date. So it always use at the back end when you want to record just something once. When user create an account, want to record when that user create that account. You can use other one to update when the user update the account. Last update. Check this man last update if it goes to 30 days, right? Check when the account, how many days have this account been in this system. So, like I said, to explain to explain further on that. Now, this auto add now, right? Now it is set the field to a current date and time when the model is first created. So this is useful for field that should only be set once, like date created, like date created by, date created. It can't use it to update. It can only be used once. So this can only be used once. So whenever you are creating the account, for the case of this, I'm not going to use this, but I want to use this one, right? If possible, I don't want to use any one because I will be using my hand to add the time manually, because what we are doing here is the date that we are creating, right? So I'm using my hand and do that manually. So to do that manually, I'm going to quickly come here and add. I don't want to add any other thing here again. So the next thing I'm going to use is the address. Address equals to model dot let's use chart field, right? So chart field max length to 300 in case the address long well. So the profile, okay, now rating of the student. Let's say rating equals to model dot. So the rating, I'm going to use float, right? Float. So that's float we are going to use. So call here default. The default we are giving them 0.0 rating. We are not giving any user rating, 0.0 rating. That's what we are giving the user first. So the next thing we are going to do is profile. So we want them to upload profile, picture,
Profile picture.
yeah, model dot image. Now you have what we call image field and file field. They are not the same. So image field is used to upload image, while file field is used to upload file like PDF, HTML. So let's quickly check out this image field in Django. So they are all the reason why I'm using Django is because everything you need here is inside the Django documentation. So this image field actually, so what it does is that whenever you create this image field, it's going to find the file inside their root directory, right? And then store that image field in your root directory. And second, also, when you come to the image field, you can indicate the source or the path where you want to the image field to go, where you want to upload it to. So whenever you upload the image field, it comes to your Django, where is that image media. So Django setting, let's check the settings. I will show you where the image will be. Where is that? Okay, I think this is a place, right? So let's see if we already define it here. It's already defined it here. I think we are not yet defining it. So we are going to define it here, media. So when in media, whatever I call it, it will be stored in that folder, which we have not defined yet. So inside here, we have a parameter called upload2. So load2 is the file folder that where we are getting it. I will say student underscore profile. So automatically, if this profile does not exist, it's going to create a profile for us.
So your student is not properly spelled.
Okay. Student underscore profile. So now the next thing we are going to do here is to call date join. So when the user created this, the time the user created this information. So now the date join now, I don't want to use date, right? To use this date, but I want to use what we call date time, right? So record what's it called? The date time actually records so the date time records so it stores dates and time information, not just date alone. So if you want to get accuracy, like if you are creating a post and you want the latest post to be at the top, right? If you use dates, it's not going to work. So you need to use date time to capture the year, the month, the day, the hours, the seconds, and the word and the milliseconds. So with that, if a account is created 5 seconds ago, right, it should be at the top. And this one is created 3 seconds ago. The one that was created 3 seconds ago should be at the top than the one created 5 seconds ago. So for you to be able to track this information, you need to use the daytime feed. So I want to know when the user created this account. Then I can either use the date to manipulate whatever that I'm using. So here I'm going to have model dot date time field. So inside this date time field, I'm going to have some parameters because I don't want to create this. I want this to automatically be created as we are creating this. And also I can say auto add time equals to true. Now what this auto add time equals to true means that I want this to automatically create state immediately my account is created, and it should not modify, right? It should not what? It should not modify. So which means if I'm using this, that means immediately this account is created, it will create automatically, and then this date will be created automatically. So when I click on create, it will create the date, exact date and time when this account is created. This is what auto add time, right? So auto add time will create it automatically. If we use auto time auto or auto now, which means that whenever you click on save, it will update. Now, if you want that situation to happen, you need to come here and put auto what? Auto now, which is go to true. That means anytime user edits or admin edit this profile, it will create a time instant at that particular time. But I don't really need this for now. So let's leave it to this other one. I hope you guys understand this, what it means, the two auto add time. I hope you all understood what it means.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So the next one I'm going to do now is okay, I think I am done with this. So you can see what we have here. So when looking at all this, you're able to understand. If you don't understand these two, what we've done here, please, you need to go leverage on the video. Okay, now the second one we are going to look at now is program, right? Program. So we are going to have, which is course, right? The user is going for course equals to, we have a model dot child field, but I did not actually generate anything for me. Okay, right. They put like,
Sorry, sir. I have a question.
okay,
Yeah, my question regards to this now that you are doing and um SQL. So is it possible that we create our this thing entity, then add every this thing related this thing attributes in their columns and tuples, everything together, then not import it inside here instead of creating the class and start adding all this one after the other?
I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
Okay, so what I'm asking now, you know what you are doing here now,
Mm,
you can basically do it in a database management system.
what do you mean?
Either
What do you mean
this is my SQL, this thing Postgres, and this in the rest.
by
Like creating a
you create
schema.
it? You create it and then create it on PHP admin. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that
Mm,
when you create a schema, either on this thing, MySQL or Postgres, that this thing after creating it now, you know that all these things now you've created now,
mm,
the rating, date join, profile, picture, name,
uh,
and the rest now. They what are they even called here? Like now they're inside an entity called a student. So they are like an attribute that that student has. So I'm saying that creating it inside my SQL database
mm.
now and importing it here. Is it possible to create it in a database, then import it here instead of creating it directly inside this thing, the Django?
Creating it from database and creating in Django, which one is more easier?
No, I'm asking a question. I just want to understand if it's possible
It's not possible.
to create there and import it here.
It's not possible because
It's not possible.
it's not possible in Django. As far as my knowledge is not possible because first of all, Django would need to communicate to the sequence by writing a script. So how do you run your migration then? How will you run your migration? It's not going to be possible. Now, if you
Okay.
connect your
Sir,
database,
what he's asking is like you are misquoting what he's asking.
hold on, I'm coming. Hold on. Now, if you create your Django model, right, and you are connected to a database, when you run migration, it will write it immediately to your database, regardless of the database you are using. If it's connected, when you run make migration or migrate, when you run that migrate and make migration, automatically it will write it. So if you want, you tell me if you want to do like, you will go and write it manually. No. You only do that with PHP, not with Python, not with Django. It's not possible in Django. Then in PHP, what you are going to do now is that because PHP does not use object-related mapping, it only use normal SQL query. So it will work with PHP because it's just SQL query you are using. Even when you want to fetch in PHP, you use from this select all where ID is equals to this. So, but in Django does not use it. It uses object-related map. So, you've already written a code for you that can handle on the back end. So, what you need to do, create your run your migration, migrate. You still have the same thing. Person that is in PHP will take 1 week in doing that, but within a day, if you are done creating the whole model for yourself. Okay, well, next question.
So this thing now.
Okay, good.
Sorry,
Oh,
first, sorry, Lawrence. Sorry, first. So now we've created this now inside the Django. So are we still going to create this now inside database for it to be stored inside either this in our database, which can either be MySQL or SQLite or Postgres?
It's not possible. You don't need to do that. Immediately you do,
So how is our informations now? How is all these informations now? Like when a student registers now, has his profile and the rest now. So how will the profile now be stored inside the database?
immediately
That is my SQL database.
Immediately you run make migration and migrate. If your database is connected to it, it will run. It will create it.
So this now, all these things now will now be transferred to the
Exactly.
database.
Exactly. With make migration and migrate.
Uh,
You work like magic, but in the back end, if I start explaining to you, you don't understand it. So there is the back end query Django already has done. Immediately run that main migration, it will push it and write and create that query immediately, create a database, both the information inside it.
okay, okay.
Okay. Next person.
okay, sir. I want to quickly be clear on something. So this simply means that designing a model on MySQL, it's not really necessary that you do it first on MySQL before you start doing it direct here in Django. So you can go straight to Django and do it.
Why are you doing it in MySQL? Where you know that you can just do it in Django and make migration migrate, boom, you have it there. That is it. Very simple. So you going and be doing a MySQL and doing it, you just want to be wasting your time because you fail with a lot of bug. And I've not done it before. I will not encourage anybody to do it because why doing it where you can just type everything, make migration, migrate, and you have it in your database, Postgres, MySQL, or LightSQL. You'll be seeing it there. You understand? So, are you there?
Sir, I have another question.
Okay.
Because, uh, initially, I remember the time you said we should make use of one site like that, draw SQL or something,
Mm,
to prepare our database
mm,
in order to have the insight on how they are going to relate,
mm,
as in the relationship between them. Then in that site, I came across a function in which can help you to, save that drawing and convert it to actual database. It can be my SQL, it can be anything. It depends on the choice you picked from that site. Now, what he was asking earlier, what I believe Temple was asking earlier was that after creating it, converting it to actual database in which using XAMPP, you can install it and have your data in your database even without using your Django. Now, what he was saying is that that predefined data, can we use it to create model instead of us writing the model from the beginning ourselves? Is it possible to convert it to model so we can use with Django? That is, I believe that is the question is actually asking. So instead of us writing the model ourselves from the Django again, once you have done all those ones, is it easy to convert it to model in which we can just put in the Django?
okay. This are Django. Django model does not hit the database. It has nothing to do with a database. Django model are classes, Python class, right? Written in Python. Then with the help of Django framework have already written commands on the back end that will be able to communicate to your SQL. Then before you be able to do that, you must have what we call migration files. So that migration file, Django will be structured in a way that when you write that migration file with their script they've written, can then hit the database. There is no way you can write a database and then convert it to Python or convert it to Django database. It is not possible. You must write through the model and then run your migration, get the file prepared, and run migrate to push it in the database. There's no way you can run predefined database. Probably you already designed it on MySQL. You want to convert to the Django. If there is a way, do research. But for the best of my knowledge, there is none for now. Maybe you can do research.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that already.
You can do research and see how possible it is. But for me, it's not possible to handle it with Django. So if you do the research, let us know the outcome of your research. So
All right, sir.
okay, so let's fire down. So the next thing we are going to do is cohort program course. Then we're also going to have grade um grade equals to model dot. So the grades here I'm going to use, because it's a number, I'm going to use what we call the integer word, the integer field. You can read about that. So the integer field here, I'm going to have default to like grade is 0.0. I'm not giving anybody default grades. All right. So next one is, so what relationship are we going to have here? Can somebody tell us relationship we are going to have in the program?
If it is from the student, it will be one to one, and if it
For
is
the
from the
student.
program to the student, it will be from the student to the program. It will be one to one, because one student one program. And if it is from the program to the student, it will be one to many.
I didn't get.
If we are starting from the program, choosing of the program to the student, then one program can go to many students, which is many students can choose one program. And if it is from the other side, it will be one to one.
How do you mean by the other side? We are working on the program.
If you are working on program, then it will be one program can go to many students, which is one to many.
One to many.
Yeah.
So who disagree with it? Who disagree with who disagree with the guy? Or you agree with him? Who agree with the guy?
So what was the question?
I said the relationship between program and students. What is it?
Program and students. So the program, is it just one program or is programs in
Program,
this thing? Programs,
course,
eh?
course to students.
Or course?
It's
So
one
it
to
should
many.
be,
I think with that guy.
course, that is student to course or course to
Not the
student.
student and the program. Not the student and the program. Between the program and the student. Program and the student, not student program. We are not adding, we are not using the program student, but we don't use student field to the program. So the relationship between the program and the student is called what?
Yes, it's one to many.
Huh?
One to
I
many.
still don't understand the question, sure.
Okay. The relationship, hmm, the connection or the interaction between the program and the students, from program to student, is called what? Well, with profile to student, which we said is one-to-one relationship. In fact, reason being, one student can only have one profile. That one profile can only be assigned to one student. You can have many students using one profile, but the possible to have many students enrolling in don't be so. Yeah?
Okay, so that is one to many.
It's not one to many. It's not possible.
Sir, what of many to many?
Many to one.
It's called many to one because a
Many
program
to one.
is referring to student. That means program is many, right? That means um, one student can be enrolled in multiple programs.
You see, that is why I was asking the program. Is it plural? So that's why I was asking
No,
whether
it's
it's
not like
plural.
nothing like program. It's program. So that program, which is courses, right? Now, which means that um, a relationship from program to student is from many to one, which signify that many students can enroll in one program. Do you understand?
Yes.
10 students can enroll in software development, but 10 students cannot have one profile. It's not possible.
No, mute your mic now.
You understand? Please mute your mic. I repeat,
Tijani, please mute your mic.
I repeat, one student. Now, what I say is many to one is that many students can enroll in one programming course. No be so.
Yes. Yes.
Why each um, program, right? Each how do I say? Now, okay, many students can enroll in one program, right? Which is many students. Why the relationship between the program and the student is many, right? Because many students can enroll in one program. It's
Yes.
right. Why eh, one student can only be related to one program. Are you getting me? One student,
Yes, I'm getting you, but sir, it can still be like this. One student can be related to many programs. Like I'm using paraventure
one
now.
student,
When we
one student,
started, when we started,
one student cannot be related to one program. It's not possible.
so what you're saying now is that one student can only attend only one program.
If you are coming from program directly, like if you are coming from student directly, are you getting me?
Mm-hmm.
If you are coming from the aspect of the student directly in relationship with the program, hmm? In relationship with the program, it is one relationship. But we are coming from the program to the student. That means multiple students, 100 students can enroll in one software engineering program.
One software engineering class.
Are you getting one software engineering program? It can be front end, back end. Are you getting it? That is many to one relationship. But one student only related to one program is only related to one student. I don't know what to say again, but I think you guys understand. So to do many to many relationship, we're going to do what we call foreign key, right? It's not the same thing with one to many. So model dot foreign key. So we're also going to do the same thing that we did here. Pass the student model, students, then pass on delete, pass model dot cast cd. So the next one we're also going to add here is we are going to use, okay, that is student. So the final one is cohort. So who can tell me cohort? We want to add cohort, please. Who is there? Name equals to model dot chat field. So what we try to do is cohorts. What relationship we deal with the student? Hmm?
Many to one. Many to one.
Many to one. Who disagree with him? Hmm? Who disagree with him? Let me copy this day, John. Who disagree with him, please?
Sir, I do.
Okay. What is it?
Because we only have three relationship. One to many,
one to one, many to many. So you should have said one to many, not many
It's
to.
many to one, sir.
It's one to many, not many to one. Don't get it wrong. It's one to many, not many to one.
So what you are trying to say is that this is many to one or one to many. Which of them?
The technical term is one to many.
Yes.
That's the way they pronounce. That's the way it's been done. One to many. Then you have foreign key.
What do you mean by technical term?
Like they don't say one many to one. It's always one to many. That's the way it's been. That's the way they put it. It's right, but it just need to be technically right.
So you said they don't say what again? One to many. Huh?
No, sir. They don't say many to one. It's one to many.
Are you sure?
Just three relations. One to many, many to many.
They don't have one to many. What you have is many to one. And they have one to one and many to many. Don't only three that you have. I don't know the one they call one to many. I don't understand that one. This is the first time we're hearing that one. Otherwise, you are doing reverse. Huh? Huh?
Sir, and the other time, I wanted to argue, sir. I had an opinion, sir. Probably it's because you've designed it in such a way that a student cannot take more than a course, cannot take more than a program. That's why he said the program to student must be one to many and not can't be many to many. Under ID condition, it should be many to many. If a student can go through many programs at once, then you should enroll in it.
So, all right, this is it. You can't get it right. So, who will try again? The relationship between the cohort and the student. Huh?
I think it should be one to many.
Isn't
I big answer. One cohort, many
Hello,
students.
sir. If it's not one to many, then it's many to many. Then
it's called
One to one.
it's called many to many relationship. Now, this is why it's called many to many relationship. Now, in many to many relationship, right? Um, many students, right? Many students can join one cohort, right? While one cohort belong to many students. That is it. Many students can join one cohort. Did a cohort relate to only one student? Huh? Hello.
Sir?
Did it relate to only one student?
But a student can only be in one cohort.
No, that is not how it goes. Are you getting me? Many,
So, sir, you are telling us now that many cohorts, that many cohorts can belong to a student. He said so many cohorts now. A student can be in many cohorts.
Sir, what I believe
hello,
is
sir.
that
There was a time this question was asked. The answer was one to many. That you were saying many to many. You said no. The answer was you said it was one to many. Now you're telling us that it's many to many.
It's going to be this thing many to one, many students in one cohort. Or if you want to turn it the other way around now, it will not be this thing one to many, one cohort to many students. It cannot be many to many, because that means many cohorts can be for this thing many students, and many students can be in many cohorts. So you just have to be using many to one. That is, many students can be in a particular cohort.
No, it's many to many. Let me explain. So you guys will not confuse yourself. All right. In many to many relationship, right? Let's say, for instance, we have cohort. So a student can join what do you call it? A cohort. A particular cohort is having many relationship with the student model. Don't look at student as an individual. You get a bit confused. Are you getting me? So we're talking about student models. We are talking about more than 1,000 students, not just a particular student. So if you are seeing it in a specific student, it's not because this model does not only have one student. So you have multiple students. So now multiple students can join, can be assigned to cohorts, right? Why this serve as many to this? Because it's not just related to just one alone. Just that you have groups, right? Students are groups, cohort are groups. So they relate together with what? Many to many. Many student model. Many students can join a particular cohort, right? Why cohort is relationship to student is many. Why student in relationship to cohort is many. So it's called many to many to relationship, not one to many or many to one. That is not how to define it. So it's many to many relationship. It's not one to many. So let me um, give more a bit clarification in that many to many. Now, in many to many, for instance, now a student model, right? A student model which is can have many students in that cohort. Unlike what we have in foreign key, right? In foreign key, you're in this program, you only have um, personal relationship. The relationship between the student and the program is multiple relationship. Multiple because many students can choose one particular course. But the relationship to the program, from the program to the student, is just one relationship because one program is only assigned to a particular student. Now, but when it comes to many here, right? A relationship from this model, how many people will join a cohort group? There are many to students. Now, how many students will join a cohort group? There are many. So when the cohort group refer to students, that means many students can join that cohort. When the relationship of student refer to cohort, that means many cohorts can also have access to many students. So if you see it as a normal individual stuff, it gets a bit confused. So yeah, if you want this, don't use one to many or whatever.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I have a question to this thing you're talking about now. Now, in a scenario that will have a teacher, let's say a model teachers, they will have another this thing model classrooms. Now, each of the classrooms can have multiple teachers, and multiple teachers can teach in multiple classrooms. What is that one called?
Okay, man, if you create a classroom model, a classroom model is when students can join. It's a different model, right? Now,
No, no, no. I'm not talking about student now. I'm using a classroom because in a classroom there are multiple students in a classroom. There
yes.
are students in a classroom. Now, but I'm using the classroom itself, the classroom as an entity.
Mm.
Then I'm using teachers as an entity too.
Now,
Now,
okay, go on.
now, if you we have this thing in teachers, we have multiple teachers. Now, in class, we have students. Now, and each of the classes can have multiple teachers, and multiple teachers can teach in multiple classes. What is that one called?
Okay, good. In a situation where you have teacher relationship to classroom, right? Or to
Yes.
students. Which of them?
Yes, to classrooms. Yes, that is classrooms now. In schools we can have multiple
Teacher
this thing
relationship
classes,
to classroom is many to many, not one to many.
many to many. So how is it now that this one now we are talking about directly now, this cohort and student now is many to many? Because we can only have this thing a student inside one cohort, and this one cohort can have multiple students.
Okay, now this is it. Now, when you talk about cohorts, cohort is group, right?
Yes, cohort is group. Yes.
Student group too.
Yes, a student is group.
So how is it one-on-one, one-to-many relationship?
Now, what I'm talking about here now, sir, is that
Hold on. If the student is group and cohort is group, so you are not referring to a particular student. You are referring to a group of students, a cohort. Now, a cohort can have multiple students, right?
yes, a cohort can have multiple students.
Can multiple students join cohort?
Yes, multiple students can join cohort.
So that's many to many. If a cohort can have multiple,
So now, sir, sorry, now let me understand. Let me understand you now.
just
Let me
hold on,
understand
please
you.
hold on, sir. If a multiple student can, a cohort can have multiple students, right? And a student can also have, what's it called? If a cohort can have multiple students, and student model can have multiple, what's it called? What's it called? A cohort can have multiple students, which is group, right? And a student can also have what? A student model. How do I even put it? People are even confusing me. A cohort can have multiple students, right? Right? Which is group. And student student model can have multiple students also. So if a group of students join a cohort, a group of students join a cohort, right? So
Sir,
hold on. A student
sir,
model,
I'm
hold
seeing
on,
lapses.
please. Hold on. Don't interrupt me, please. When I'm done, you can say something. So that I will not forget what I'm about to say. If a student is a group, right? They are in group, right? And cohort is group,
Yes.
right? If a group of people refer to a different group of people, vice versa, cohort is multiple, students is
Okay,
multiple.
so yeah, that's many to many.
That's many.
So now, sir, we are treating the cohort now as an entity that contains multiple
Yes,
cohorts.
now. No, not multiple cohorts.
Okay, no, that's where the confusion came
Yeah,
from now.
don't see
Because now we were looking at it.
don't see it as individual. Don't see it.
Okay, so no, that's where the confusion came, because we were looking at it based on this thing, a single cohort, not like an entity of cohorts.
This is
Sir, I have another
this is not
question.
only built for a particular user. This can be more than 10,000. Are you getting me? This can be more than 10,000.
Yes.
That is it. Don't see it as, if you launch it as just a normal, you get a bit confused. You're asking something.
Yes, you said because we are using users model,
I didn't
and
get
that is why,
I didn't hear you.
according to your explanation,
Hmm.
you said a cohort can accommodate many students, which we all understand. Now, you said students, group of students. You understand?
Hmm.
They can choose different cohort as well, which is many to many. But in this case, I don't think we are referring to many students, a group of students, because the model you are referring to and you are tagging as a group is not actually a group. A model is creating an instance of a student. Now, if it is an instance, it means just one student at a go,
Hmm?
and that student have to choose a cohort.
You don't do it that way. Don't do that. If you do it that way, you messed up your thinking. I get it. If you do it that way, you mess up your thinking. How do I explain this further? Uh,
So let me quickly check this. Looking at OTS platform, we have our group platform, software engineering, and we have our individual cohorts. So looking at our individual cohorts, we have many in there.
just hold on. Can we have multiple students in user model? The guy, you there?
Sir, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Can you have multiple students in user model?
We have to create one instance.
Do you can I'm asking you a
And
question
then
respond now so that you not get confused more. Can you have
no,
multiple students in one user model?
it is a model. Yes, we can.
Yeah?
We can because it's a model.
If a model allow multiple students and a code allow multiple students, then what's the relationship with both of them?
That is my point. Model doesn't allow multiple students at a go, which means you have to keep calling it to create multiple.
The guy you
It's not
confusing your
at all.
the guy you are confusing your brain.
Sir, don't worry. I rest my case. I will do my feasibility study and get back to you full time with evidence.
Okay. It's not doing feasibility study. It's what we do here. You see it here in your eye. Are you getting me? If you didn't put many to many relationship now, okay, I will show you something. I will show you something. Okay, let's move on.
Hello, sir. Can I? Hello, sir. Can I? Okay, good. Now, I believe it's many to many. Why? Because
Are you there?
looking at our OTS platform, OTS is housing students inside cohorts, different cohorts. Now, all those students in different cohorts, they can access the OTS platform, which is software engineering. The software engineering platform we have on the WhatsApp. I'm talking about the WhatsApp groups, the software engineering WhatsApp group, and the cohorts that we have, audio cohorts that we have. Now, if you have any the individuals in each cohort accessing the information on the software engineering platform on the WhatsApp group, then it is like many to many. You understand? I can talk to that guy. I can talk to Skyline. I can talk to any person I want to talk to on that platform. It is many to many. You understand? So it's not just what they call it a student you're referring to. You court is an entity on its own, but it's not just an. It's like a house having a lot of people. Just like the students, which is the let me use what the in software engineering platform is an entity on its own too. It has a lot of people there too. It's housing all the whole cohorts. It's housing all the whole students too. So it's like many to what another many. It is not one to many. It cannot be one to many. It is many to many. It's many to many. I was confused at first. I was thinking it was one to many. Not until I understood that cohort is like an entity housing so many students, not just cohort as like an individual like that. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you see what you do. Go and do research and come back, yeah? But don't you know I will explain you that that you understand. So because
All right,
if you
sir.
want to understand, you need to stop seeing it as a user as a particular one user. You get more confused. So we are going to have students. You know, one student is equals to many relationship. Because if you don't do that way, there's no way it's going to work for you. So
I think there's no S, sir.
so we have
For student,
so
for student, no S.
so please mute your mic, please. So students, then we have model dot on delete. Okay, we don't really have to, we don't need to have on delete here. So this is many to many. All right, so this is what we've done. I think we'll be able to do everything. All right. I think we are done with everything here. So let's
So, sir, every many to many doesn't have on delete.
yeah, it doesn't have on delete. It doesn't have. So what you are going to do in order to get more clearer understanding. This is as simple. Don't need to argue them. Go to Django documentation. Um, Django relationship. I think this model. So go to the documentation. You see many to many, have you? So this many to many can read like publication, right? Then we have article. right? So it means that this publication of newspaper publication can have multiple articles. Why multiple article can have multiple publication? So someone that was saying is only see what we have here. Many to many, one to many. There is nothing like one to many. There is no one to many. It's many to one, which is the foreign key, right? And one to many, and then many.
Sir, they are both correct. They are both correct. It's just mixing it. They are both correct, sir.
So if you want to read more about that, I think this documentation will help you more to understand about many to many relationship, so that when you are designing your database, you know what and what to design. All right, so we are done. So what we are going to do now is that let's come here. So we need to run our migration, so we can have all this migrate. So we are going to have error like this is coming in line 27. So let's check that. Line 27. So in the line 27, so the 27 here, you're telling us model has no attribute models. So it has to be mod the capital letter.
Capital letter.
Remove them. So it should be this dot. All right. Okay, let's run the migration. So now in Django, if you are using image, it's also important that you install a particular application called Pillow, right? Without Pillow, whenever I use this image field, you need to make use of an app called Pillow. So that's why we're having that error. So we need to install a Pillow, right? So I can say pip install Pillow. All right, so I can get rid of that error. All right, let's finish up. Okay, I think we are done. So let's run our migration. Uh, Migration. Then they're asking us to put in things. I'm just going to use one, and then they're asking me to enter date. 20. Asking me to enter provide one. I beg any of them. There are a lot that we need to do. Okay, let's drop the database here so that we can have all these things. Let's go and drop the database. Then drop the migration. Because they're asking us to add default with all these things, which is not okay. So it's also good to create a database before you migrate so that avoid all this error. So I'm deleting my migration file. Then possibly delete this one that is here elsewhere. Then come to the database. You can delete it if you can't delete, can rename it and delete it. So okay, we've done deleting it. So let me make migration again. So now this time around, when we make migration, you notice that the migration is not coming out, right? So you just need to type the name of the app, student, then run your migration. Then you can see everything that is migrate. Then run your migration again. Migrate. All right. So I already deleted my database. So I need to recreate back my my Django admin back. If I want to install some stuff, get it back. So the admin 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. All right. So run this thing again. So let's go back to the Django admin and see what's happening there. All right. Let's go back to this. Then enter. So right. So we see everything that we've added. If you come to program, you can add program, then choose the student. So you need to add student, model. So when you come to, we need to register. We are not register cohorts. So let's go and register cohorts too, because we are not seeing code on our admin. So we need to import it. Cohort, is called group. Then copy this, have code group. All right. So let's quickly go and reload. Check what's the problem. Okay. All right. So reload. Then groups can come here and add group. You can see that this is many to many, right? Relationship. So you ask us to add many students, not just one student. Unlike what we have here. So let's add the students, skyline, um, add more students, then save the status. So let's go and add like 3, 4, 5 students.
Hello, sir. Please, I
Sorry,
want to
sir.
quickly ask one question.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, now, please, you did something. You deleted some things from the VS Code. Now, so that does it mean that you have to put in all those things in your database before you do migrate, before you run the migrate?
No, it's not. It's not necessary. But if you already have you have already done your migration, your main migration already, and any model that you added, you must add the default, a placeholder stuff that can help you
The
migrate.
default,
Without that,
you need default value, sir.
yeah, default value, you must add it. You must add it. So
Sorry, sir. I have a question.
okay.
So you are adding. I'm saying that you are adding students from here now. That is the back end.
Mm.
But share is possible from through the front end that when the student register, their information will be added here automatically.
Yeah, we'll come to that now. We're not started that area now. What we are doing here to understand database first before you start.
Okay. Okay.
So usually, so let's have another student. Mm, yeah, they have right. Save this. So they have like 5 students. Uh, okay. All right. So this is good. Let's go to student profile. So here we can come here and choose the student. And if you notice, the problem we're having here is that we are not seeing the student, but we are just seeing the student object. So we don't really know which student that we want to add. If we go to cohort, you add cohort, you notice that we are only seeing only seeing what's the called object, right? Now, if you click on here, you only see an object, right? But if you come here, so listen, if you come to user, you can see what we have here, right? You can see that we have username, email address, phone number, and so let's go and add profile. Let's go and add profile. But before we do that, we need to make sure that this object will be off. So to do this, to add this object, right, you need to go convert the field that you want to be on the object, the main object, so that I can use that object to identify. So the student here, I want to use the username as the object. So what we need to do is that come to the user model. So that user model, go down to the user model, and inside the student, you are going to define a helper function. So you can see,
That is student profile, sir. Not student model.
okay, that is profile. So you can define a method called stream underscore stream, right? Let me just call it like this, stream. Right, this is the method here. So define it. So we define this stream. So we need to pass in self here, because if you want to access any instance,
Sir, the defined is not well written.
if you want to access any instant of the class, right? You must you are required to define the what's it called? You are required to define um what's it called? You are required to define um you are required to define
A string.
if you want to access what's it called? You want to access in helper function. So you are required to define it this way. So let me move on. All right. So define stream. So we are going to convert this to stream. So what you need to do, you just do there are two ways to do that. If you want to use first name and last name, right? If you want to use this and this, so what they are going to do is either you use return the f function, f this thing in Python. They already have a Python, so we have here. So inside this f, you can say self dot um self dot last name or first name. Then also here also can put space, put your can say self dot last name. So let's go and look and see what we are going to see. Remember before we are only seeing object, so we come here, you can see that we have the full name. So what is actually appearing here is what is the full name and the last name of the person, of the student. So that's how you can be able to convert the object to string. So let's go back here and come to profile and add Mr. Macaulay. Mr. Macaulay. You can also use the username. Welcome to testing. Okay. So then you can see the reason why you are seeing this because I use text field, right? So now look at what is happening here. You can see the dates. So asking us to add the date of birth of the person. Then you can see the address. Then you can see this and then the image. So I'm going to add any image, at all. Let me add this image here. So I click on load. All right. So you can see this one too is showing object. You are seeing it as an object. Let's go to program. Inside this program, we are going to write the course full stack engineering. They'll put the name. I can see 50. So in the other one, I can see engineering. Then I have 20. Then you have this self. So now what is actually happening here is that we're still having those object issues. right? We are still having all these object issues. You can create code and assign person to code. I'm going to that. You can see code, code, code 24 or 24. You can assign like this. All right. So you can see what we have here. And I want to quickly work on something. So on the what's it on the what's it on the uh, Django model. So I already want to work on something. So the thing we're working on now will be able to help us get the in-depth knowledge of how we can be able to filter all this information from the admin. So we'll do that quickly by using the already built-in admin that we have that can help us filter this information and be able to get the admin. So we also work on that. Let quickly dive into that. So to get what we also need to do is to convert all those information. So what we are going to do is that let me quickly go back and then I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So please, if you want to use the username, let's say you want to use a relationship from here, right? So what you need to do is to call this student self dot student, right? Then dot username. So this username, remember this relationship, right? So you can just call the username directly there. I don't need to know that thing again. I just need one here. So let me copy this too. So come down here, and I have so what did I did not copy? So let's check. Okay. Return self. There's a problem. This one is something. There's a problem somewhere. So look at. There's a problem. Okay. So the problem started here. So okay, we fix. All right. So let's do the same thing here. I want to do this now so that next class, we just start working on the query. All right. So I'm going to still leave it students. Okay, code.name. So this will be cohort. Cohort. So we also going to have here. So course dot the program course name. So the file. Let's just copy this. We all know why we're doing this, right? Hello.
Yes.
Dot course. Okay, fantastic. So let's go and load it back. So you can see we have cohorts here. If you click here, you can then update. You can see we have the students. Make it visible, readable, right? So now what we're also going to do now is that customize the admin interface. So I want to customize some of the custom model which we want to what we actually want is that we want to use if you come here, we have filter. Since you look at filter here, right? You have search bar. So when you come to here, we don't have search bar, we don't have filter. So you come to the user here, you can see you have search bar, you can search for any user at all. Hmm? But if you come here, you can see that here we have filter, right? So if you come here, you can see we have a table like this that display the user that display the column of that model and then the instance, which is the value, right? So let's start with the student so that we can first thing we need to do, we want to add a search filter and then a search filter and then a search. So a search bar where people can search. When you are want to use Django like this, then when you are doing all this, if you are not doing like me, so that it can be a bit okay. So let's quickly go to Django model. So to get rid of all this register, I want to use advanced a bit custom register. So so what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to call a class, then a class of student admin, then admin, right? So inside the student admin, I will call the inherit from the admin dot model admin. So we are talking directly inside the model admin, right? We are talking directly inside the model admin. So inside the model admin is what we are going to do. In order to work on this, in order to work on this line where you have students, this or you have this, we have to call what we call list admin. So we come here say list what list uh, display, then equals to. You can either use list or use tuple, right? So me, I'm going to use list. Can use tuple, so I'm going to use list. So what are the list of field? So list of field of what again? So let's say the list of field of these students, every information that we have here, bring it up here. So here I'm going to call first is the username. Then the second is the last name. Just copy them. It's something you can copy and paste. Copy here, then then copy and paste. Then the status, right? Copy and paste. So then get rid of all this, right? So we are good. So let's go back and go to the students. Click on the students. So we are seeing that where are we? Sorry. Okay. Okay. So what we are going to do is that remember we commented on the students model, right? So I don't want to register this because to register this now I need to register this. So what I need to do, I'll come here and call helper function, push the call helper function in Django. Now say admin dot site admin dot register, what is register, right? So inside this register I am passing in the model that have this field, right? Which is what the students. Are we together? Are we together? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fantastic. All right. So I've already done that registration. So let me run this. Okay, my server is running and everything is working fine. So let me quickly come back here and then load. You can see what I have here. Now when you click on here, you see that we have a table. Have you seen it? We have a table. You can also play with filter, right? You can just play with filter. Um, can play with filter. The same way we have this, right? So let's quickly do this, duplicate this to others before we wrap it up for today. So I'm going to copy this and come here. So what I'm going to do is that here I'm going to register student profile. Then I'm going to change this instead of profile admin, profile. Then I come to the student profile, a student profile here. Then I copy all this. It's not really everything that you need to add, just things that are very essential. So I'm going to add the environment. I'm going to add like address. I'm going to add like rating. So I will not add past picture because okay, sorry. Spec. How far now? Now finish. We just deploy this night too. Yeah, tell me it's not finish. Nothing will make us not go deploy this in this night. Right.
You don't need state update.
Almost done. Almost done. Okay, so students, um, so let me put student here. All right, comma. So delete of this. Okay, I think it's only these two I'm going to do tonight. Let me check this out. So let's run this. So our server is working perfectly. So you can see profile. We have, look at what we have in profile here. So apparently that is how to customize your Django admin. So the next class we are going to be looking at how we can create understanding, how we can fetch and query the database to fetch all this information that we have the database to the front end, and then how we can create, delete, and update the same way we are doing here. Are you getting me? How you can create, delete, and what and update. So we can be using that one to be creating and also be updating. So that's what we're going to be looking at on Wednesday next week. So if you have any question, please hit me